Good morning. It's hard to believe it's May 1st, May Day, and I thought I'd give a little garden tour this morning. And we'll start here. And this is where I planted quite a few garlics in I think it's the end of September I planted it. Uh, no, it had to be October because I thought to myself at the end of May, maybe we'll start having garlic. And I planted a lot more, but the chickens were getting out and they were really rough on the garlic for a while. I didn't think I would have garlic, but now I can tell I'm going to have garlic. But it's not quite ready, and I'll know it's ready when these start drying up. And so we've got probably another month to go on those. And then, yes, my parsley has definitely gone to seed, or blossom, and then will go to seed. It's a biennial. And my dianthus, my Dusty Miller, they are slated to leave the garden bed next year. Next fall, I'll take them out, but I think the dianthus is so pretty in there. And then my feverfew also is going to be out of this bed. So it's going to go. There's a petunia. They talk about petunias in the onions. Well, that wintered over, so it's been blooming all along. And I planted this feverfew because I used to have it grow wild in my Idaho yard. And I don't think it grew this big up there. So it has really done, and I'll be glad to see when it blooms. If it's really what I had, because what I had up there just bloomed and bloomed. And then my poor little lavender, it's almost got, well, my husband and I have an expression we use that ever since we read Christie, and it's Liver Crowed, Catherine Marshall's book, Christie. And I don't know, I know I showed it last year on a video, but this was just a little plant, and I said I should transplant it because underneath there I had oregano and a bee balm. Well, I'm sure the bee balm is history. The oregano made it through. And then here is my, in a pot, my lemon verbena, my sage, and I want to tell you something about sage and us here. We've lived here coming up 7 years, I think, 2011, 7 years. And we have, I think, killed it 3 times now, sage. And what happens, our soil does not drain very well, and it gets overwatered. And then in a container, it's real easy to overwater it, but it doesn't do well if it gets too much water. Okay, and then, oh, I don't know if we're just getting all sunshine, but I think I'll start where I usually do and walk through the garden. And my chard has just gone to seed, but the chickens are loving it. My beets, which I grew more for the greens than the beet itself, and the reason I did more for greens is that I can really eat those and they don't bump my sugar. And greens are so good, and I don't know if it happens to you, but come this time of year, it just seems like I can't get enough green stuff. And so I've been, in fact, I had some for breakfast. And my edible pea pods, I've been picking almost every other day. Actually, last week I picked them 2 days in a row, and there's always, I picked them yesterday, but evidently they just grow, that's all. But I'll be picking them again tomorrow, and so and then I haven't got my peppers and my eggplants in, but I think I'll put them in this bed because in just a short while, the beets will be gone. And there's also a potato that seems to come up every year that we always miss getting one of the potatoes out. Oh, and I might as well show you over here, this rose over here was in the chicken yard, and we transplanted it, and I didn't think ahead because it's really not in the best spot because it doesn't get the morning sun. It does get afternoon sun, and it's a rose that was originally here when we came. There were 4 rose bushes in the yard when we came. They were all back in the chicken yard, and we somehow left this one. We moved 3 to the front and one of them died, so we have 3 original to the property roses. Okay, and then over here, this is what my tomatoes have done in a month's time. They're blooming. They started blooming about 2 weeks ago, and okay, it's just, I'm not sure this one, well, I can see it's getting ready to bloom if it hasn't there, so maybe it hasn't been 2 weeks. And okay, but I've seen this one bloom and blossoms right now still. You can see, I don't know if the camera's going to pick them up, but I can't tell that if any tomatoes have really set. But they're going to start blooming, all of them, and they're going to start setting. And they were just down here when I did it, so they have really grown. They're going to fill their cages really soon. My marigolds they're pretty pathetic, but they're hanging in there. And then over here, my squash is beginning. Some of the squash, I don't know what ate it because I've never had snails or slugs eat my squash, but something else has. So there's one in there that's coming. There's one down in the garlics in there, plus some potatoes that always seem to come. And this looks like, that's probably a hollyhock, and I probably should take it out. Okay, over here we still don't have very much, and I'm not sure what that green thing is, whether it's a cabbage or broccoli, but the leaves are wonderful, and I'm going to be eating those, regardless of what it is. Okay, maybe I'll just take you over here. I'm not sure how I'm going to get through here. Oops. And this is lemon balm that seems to make it through the path. We pulled it clear out last year. Okay, this is my comfrey. It's my second year in here. I'm going to start cutting it back. Comfrey is just full of nitrogen. In fact, on my bed that I'm having trouble with, my little lettuce bed, I plan to, the next section I want to enhance, I'm going to put some compost tea from the from the comfrey, and I'm going to shred some of the leaves and put in the soil and see what happens. And again, the Dusty Miller next year will find a new spot and give me more garden. In the meantime, I've got 3 asparagus in here, and the Dusty Miller is not going to help them if it overcrowds them. Okay, I thought I would. It's a little bit difficult to get through here with everything I have. Okay, I have planted some squash in here. It hasn't come. Oh yeah. See it down there, just coming? Okay, that's good. So even though I planted a lot, I've lost some of it, and so I replanted. And we're back to the tomatoes. I think that's about it. So all we're really eating out of the garden right now are the edible pea pods, the beet greens, well, just the greens. So that's it. But it's nice that we have that. And also, I'm going to go and check out the fig tree. And see if we can see some figs on it. I've never had them darken this early, but it's been that big tree sort of was overshadowing it. Oh, and it's, I don't know if you can see them in there, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 there. 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, won't I have fun when they get ripe? Tom is still eating fig jam from last year. And so there is my garden in May. Oh, and the nasturtiums are blooming. I don't know if you can pick them up on the camera. But even though there's not a lot of produce right now, there is some, and I enjoy my garden. And it's early enough where the poppies haven't woken up. And so that's how my garden grows in the 1st of May. So have a good day. Enjoy your garden.